Next, we're going to talk about the concept from behavioral economics called satisficing. This term describes a decision-making process where instead of pursuing the best possible option, individuals and businesses settle for what's good enough. Why discuss satisficing in the context of global staffing? Because it opens up a broader conversation about the criteria we use to define what's good enough. And it challenges us to think about whether we're making choices based on or through analysis or just sticking to the comfort of familiar solutions. Let's consider the typical reasons businesses might avoid global staffing, which can often be traced back to satisficing behaviors. Comfort with the status quo. It's easier to work with and who we know. Perceived simplicity. Local hiring seems less complex at first glance. Immediate needs over long-term strategy. Quick solutions to staffing shortages might overshadow long-term benefits from a more diverse global team. And then risk aversion. There's a natural tendency to avoid the unknown, especially when it involves new processes or cultural differences. At first glance, satisficing seems like not such a good thing when you think of the points mentioned above. But in reality, for many of us, we're not picking the best option because trying to find the best option, whether real or perceived, might add a higher degree of risk or variability into the process. So if we do what we've always done, it might not be great, but at least it won't be crap. And that makes sense depending upon your goals, doesn't it? Satisficing is in large part a strategy not to have to make a decision. If we do what we've always done, the decision's already been made. If things are not great or they don't work out, it's hard to get blamed for running with a decision that is normal or one that's been made by a predecessor. But here's where we pivot in our thinking. Instead of suggesting that one approach is inherently better, let's use these points as a springboard for deeper reflection. How often do your decision-making process favor the familiar over potentially more effective alternatives? Are there opportunities you might be missing due to the preference for a path of least resistance? I'll give you a real-life example of where I think the strategy of satisficing has failed. It has not just failed the company, but their clients and also their employees. I'm an investor in several companies, and one of the companies that I invest in uses a local accounting firm, or did use a local accounting firm, for their bookkeeping. The problem was that they're having a hard time finding good bookkeepers. That's the accounting firm. We were getting our books sometimes 2 and 3 months late, and it was difficult for us to make business decisions because of that. But not only that, there were mistakes as well. They were always advertising for help, and knowing firsthand some of the internal issues they were having, I thought that our solution of using global staff could be a great solution for them. Because of the struggles they were having finding good help, this put immense pressure on some of their great staff. And in the end, I presented our solution, and several of the partners and staff members were excited about the possibility. But in the end, they decided to stick with what they knew. Because of their satisficing, we ended up leaving the company, taking our business somewhere else, because we weren't getting what we needed in the end. One of the key employees left because they weren't getting what they needed, and the company wasn't getting the support they need, and they're still advertising to this day and still struggling to find the help they need, all because they were trying to do what they've always known. There are times when satisficing might be a good strategy, but there are others where it can be practically catastrophic to a business. So I ask you the question, are there areas where you might be satisficing? Could a willingness to reassess and possibly embrace a more diverse solution drive your company forward? The goal here is not to prescribe, but to provoke thought to help you to decide the best path forward based on and through an honest evaluation of all the available options.